The National Union of Public Workers is on a mission to save as many public sector jobs as possible. To this end, it will be meeting with officials from the Ministry of the Civil Service next Monday. That meeting is to see if some of the 3,000 public servants going home early next year can be retained. Word of this following a 3.5-hour meeting at the NUPW's headquarters to update mainly temporary workers about the union's progress and to hear their suggestions. NUPW General Secretary Dennis Clark says during that meeting, several emotional presentations were made by workers who spoke of their personal experiences and financial commitments. Others offered their ideas about what should be done in the circumstances. There were mixed views on one suggestion for a 3% wage cut as an option. Speaking at the end of the meeting, Mr. Clark said the main priority is to try to keep the workers employed.
Remain on the job. The workers do not want to be laid off, and quite frankly, that is the main aim of the union, that whatever we do, however we negotiate, we must negotiate a package that see that the 3,000 workers remain employed in the public service.
Meanwhile, Mr. Clark also dismissed suggestions that the union had sold out workers. He also said it was untrue to say that the figure of 3,000 layoffs is non-negotiable.
We have not been told by anyone that is non-negotiable. We have not been told so at all. There are a lot of misinformation being spread and rumors. We have not been told so, or else we will not be meeting next week to negotiate. We will not have been submitting proposals. We have said yesterday that there's a small window and it is open for us to negotiate with the Ministry of the Civil Service.
Well, a leading furniture and appliance store is reporting a sharp decline in sales following the announcement by Finance Minister Chris Sinclair last Friday about layoffs in the public service starting next month. That's the news coming from Unicomer Barbados Trading as Courts. Managing Director Tricia Tannis says Courts is trying to respond to the sudden shock to the retail market.
The last couple of days have been a little more encouraging, and we are hoping that trend continues well into the end of the month and beyond. Certainly the economy would have taken a shock, certainly following the announcements on Friday morning. I don't think it's any surprise that the retail industry certainly has seen a fairly sharp arrest in economic activity. We've responded to that by trying to really understand the customers' needs at this time and to design promotions that we think will speak to those needs and hopefully encourage them to come out and shop.
Ms. Tannis spoke to CBC News at a prize-giving ceremony at Earl's Funeral Home. Jennifer Perkins was the lucky winner of a 2014 Suzuki Swift by shopping at Courts. Ms. Tannis says that Courts has been doing everything possible to instill confidence and hope in its customers. She says that will continue with big promotions for the rest of the year.
With Courts, depending on what kind of package you buy, you do have some redundancy and hospitality coverage, so you can shop with confidence at Courts. That's one of the things we've been offering for quite a few years now, not just in this current season, but it is something that our customers would have had some fair degree of peace of mind about since they've been shopping at Courts. For the last maybe 10 or so years, we've been offering that as part of our cover. So we are really trying to think of everything that we can do to instill confidence, hope, still a bit joy, and all is not lost. We do need to still get up and put one foot in front of the other every day, and really trust in God, who's the only one who's going to get us beyond these current circumstances.
The University of the West Indies still plans to roll out a campus in historic Bridgetown. It is to be located in the old Mutual building on Lower Broad Street, to be donated by Sagicor Incorporated, and another location in the city. Confirmation of this from Pro Vice-Chancellor and Principal Sir Hilary Beckles during the closing ceremony to mark the end of the campus's 50th anniversary celebrations at the Arrowbarrow Centre for Creative Imagination. He said the Mutual building will become the heart of the CAFL campus city enterprise.
The moving of the campus into the city and the rolling out of the city campus will see again a transformation of what is the CAFL campus. We were very pleased that the Prime Minister and your manifesto in the last election, that you placed as a manifesto pledge that the vacant NIS building in Bridgetown will also be given to the university for the city campus.
Well, Prime Minister Frendel Stewart said households had been enlightened and strengthened as a result of the expanded opportunities that the CAFL campus has offered. He's of the view that the true potential of a society will not be realized without a solid foundation based on education.
Homes have been enlightened and households strengthened as a result of the expanded opportunities which CAFL has offered. The public services of this region are now better resourced than at any other time in this region's history, thanks to the University of the West Indies. And to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, the CAFL campus has contributed immeasurably in that regard.
Well, it may only be a matter of time before students attending the Samuel Jackman Prescott Polytechnic are forced to pay more for their studies at that institution. Principal Hector Bell gave CBC News his take on the matter, reacting to the pending proposal that UWI CAFL campus students pay thousands of dollars in tuition fees from September 2014. Mr. Bell says the current situation at the SJPP is unsustainable in the long run, and he believes that over time, SJPP students will be asked to make some form of contribution to their education.
There are things that are not sustainable. You cannot continue in the current mode. No institution. All of us, from starting in the home, children will be asked to contribute. In the church, they'll be asked to contribute. At the Polytechnic or any other institution, we have to look at our costs and at least ensure that we can meet them. If not, we would have to more or less make some slight adjustment, nothing major, in an effort to provide or finance the provision of services, and I say better services, to students at the Polytechnic.
Mr. Bell also expected to see more Barbadians looking to sign up at the Polytechnic this year because of the situation at the university.
One would expect with the increase in fees or the students being required to pay part of their tuition fees, because this is what it's amongst them. One would expect that more persons will be coming to the Polytechnic to receive our training because of the inability to more or less access the university. And the fees at the Polytechnic are very, very small. They pay registration fees, not tuition fees there.
4 mini ambulances gifted to the Barbados government by the United Arab Emirates are in the Bridgetown port and may be in use soon. That's according to Health Minister John Boyce, speaking in the lower house during debate on a resolution to approve a guarantee by government for a $25 million loan to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Mr. Boyce maintains that the Queen Elizabeth Hospital is fully aware of the demands of Barbadians and is working to improve the accident and emergency department and the level of health care delivered by the institution.
The Ministry of Health, along with the hospital and the accident and emergency department, will roll out the best uses of this very generous donation by the government of the United Arab Emirates. If they're not necessarily what we want to take on the road, I can see a role for them within our tertiary institutions, in our geriatric institutions, in moving patients around from the wards to the treatment to the consulting centers, in moving equipment around.
Finance Minister Chris Sinclair says government has not cut funding to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital by $35 million. He said this was being repeated by the opposition and was simply not true.
We said that the QEH would normally get $185 million. It got $200 million last year because of certain exigencies. And we say to the QEH this year in the estimates, the minister can tell you, that we will bring you back to where your budget is supposed to be, which is $185 million. You do the necessary reformulations and reorganizations to ensure that you get back down to the $185 million, which we will give you, and a supplementary will come here to bring them up to that. But additionally, we say to the QEH, look into your services as provided, particularly those on the private side. Especially those in the private care section, and see what are the differentials between what people pay for private service in the QEH and what they pay for private service in the private sector.
Meanwhile, opposition MP Carrie Simmons expressed concern about the QEH's ability to repay the loan.
There is a 7-year period of amortization, and the government is asking the Parliament now to commit that the Queen Elizabeth Hospital that we already know is struggling to pay bills, would be in a position to find $2 million every 6 months in order to pay back this money over a 7-year period of time. Why see the eyebrows on the other side go up, sir, in shock and dismay? Because every one of them on that front bench, sir, know that the Queen Elizabeth Hospital is in no position to pay $200,000, far less $2 million every 6 months.
The opposition Barbados Labour Party intends to bring a motion of censure against Speaker of the House, His Honour Michael Carrington, when Parliament resumes in the new year. This is according to opposition MP for St James Central Carrie Simmons, who made the revelation during a press conference at the office of the Leader of the Opposition this afternoon. Several opposition MPs were in attendance at the press conference, which followed the House break for Christmas recess earlier in the afternoon.
We have decided that we are going to take this issue to the Parliament of Barbados by way of a motion of censure against His Honour the Speaker, Mr. Michael Carrington. I have this evening signed the resolution for it to be transmitted and filed, and therefore we would be anticipating that very early in the new year this is a matter that would have to attract the attention of Parliament and again the country. It is a matter that we regret having to have had to come to this point, but it is a principled position which is taken by the opposition.
Well, when contacted, Speaker of the House Michael Carrington said he has not seen any such document as yet to be in a position to comment specifically. Mr. Carrington, however, noted that understanding Order number 39 of the House of Assembly, if a member is dissatisfied with any ruling of the Speaker, he or she can have their concerns heard by the House. Well, no cases of chikungunya have been detected in Barbados to date. That's the word from the Ministry of Health tonight, and it's assuring the public that it has the capability to respond efficiently to any possible cases. Chikungunya means that which bends up in the Makunda language spoken in Mozambique and Tanzania, referring to the stooped bodies of infected persons. The Caribbean Public Health Agency released a report last Friday stating that 10 confirmed cases, 4 probable cases and 20 suspected cases of the chikungunya virus infection had been identified in the Caribbean island of St. Martin. The Ministry of Health is emphasizing that Barbados has a strong environmental health system in place, which is staffed by health professionals who are trained to identify and appropriately handle vector-borne diseases such as chikungunya. The Salvation Army is clamping down on the number of people who are fraudulently attaining food aid from the organization by pretending to be in need. Public Relations Officer Major Denzel Walcott said the Army has been having challenges with people who exploit the system. However, they have made an extra effort this year to combat that by carrying out more thorough investigations into those seeking assistance.
People keep questioning from time to time the type of people who we give. Each person who is given a meal or a food hamper at the Salvation Army is interviewed personally. There are cases when I've been asked to go out and visit the homes, but we make sure we have a careful selection. It is also a fact that some people who got last year will not get this year, in that even though we seek to meet the need, there are people who after a while can come off our program, and we thank God for that. Yes, we are meeting a need, and we'll continue to do that.
Major Walcott also expressed concern about the number of people who are gainfully employed now turning to the Salvation Army for assistance.
Even those who have a job sometimes cannot meet their own personal needs. It is true that we can't help everybody who has a job, but there are people within our society who are working who still can't meet their basic needs, and the Salvation Army is here to help those in need. We are here for the others.
Dozens of children of the Nightingale Children's Home were treated to some good old-fashioned Christmas cheer yesterday during a party sponsored by the Customs Guard Social Group at the home in Blackrock, St. Michael. The children, accompanied by staff and members of the Customs Guard Club, enjoyed food and music of the season, as well as some sporting activities. Senior Childcare Officer at the Childcare Board, Delvina Waith, welcomed the event, noting that the Childcare Board was willing to partner with any group or social club who were willing to offer financial assistance to any of the children's homes in Barbados.
The Childcare Board is always pleased to partner with the general public in initiatives that will help the overall development of the children. Not just Christmas parties. Christmas parties is just one time of the year, and we don't want to just have an overload of Christmas parties, so we give them the wrong message. However, initiatives from groups which are sustaining more long term, which really caters to and help partner, and help assist what we're doing in their lives to help to bring them to the place where we want them to be, it's always welcome.
Maurice Walcott of the Customs Guard Social Group says the economic situation has had an adverse impact on their charitable program. However, they are committed to this cause.
We're not this year being able to do things that we have done in the past, such as we were able to give the home some probably freezers and irons and food stuff, have games even with them and stuff like that. But this year, it's mainly we just try to accumulate some gifts and just have a good fellowship time with them.